Yeah.
We recorded. Come on now.
Yeah, we gotta finish. We're almost done.
Yeah, we're gonna get you some.
Can you make a request? Didn't I say we would talk about it once I finish?
Exactly. So go ahead. The longer you do this.
Okay. So once we finish, then we'll see about the orange juice. Okay.
Prime example.
Of the Marriage Conversation. I'm Nakia.
I'm EJ.
And we are
the McDuffies.
It's been a while since we sat down and recorded. Took us a while to get to this point recording right now, but we are here.
And we're here, nevertheless. So we appreciate y'all, tuning in, subscribing, all of that stuff, the engaging with the content. So yes. We're going to hop right into it. So what are we talking about today?
Today, we are giving you our unprofessional opinion on parenting. But this is just based off of our experiences, what we have learned and what we are learning as parents, as married parents in the same household, because it's just a whole different mood and vibe. It really is.
For sure. And this just came to me because I was going to say co-parenting too, because I also had a child before me and Nakia got together. Mm-hmm. But I still think that we co-parenting the child that live in our house.
Essentially, yeah. Because you come in with your own ideals and your own views and how you were raised, your own background. So that plays a lot into how you will parent as well.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I like to keep us on track. So I wrote down a few points. So EJ and I operate under the system or the ideology of gentle parenting.
There we go. Okay.
Conscious parenting.
I'm gentle. I don't know about conscious, or maybe I'm conscious. I don't know.
So EJ needs to take a screenshot of this post he made on Facebook. That is definitely conscious parenting.
No, that's gentle.
So the definition I found on the Googles is conscious parenting is about letting go of a parent's ego, desires, and attachments. Instead of forcing behaviors on children, parents should focus on their own language, their expectations, and their self-regulation. Parenting is not just about making a child happy. Children can grow and develop through struggles.
Yeah, about that. So I think the hardest part that you just said is like taking our own ego out of it and trying to be like this dominating type personality over a little person. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest struggle for me, because I always be like, you ever seen Matilda?
I'm bigger, right, I'm older.
Right, I'm bigger, I'm older, I'm right, you're wrong, all of that stuff. And Nakia always reminds me that kids are humans too. Like, they have their own emotions, they have their own feelings, they have their own ideas and personality and things that they're working through. And the one thing that Nakia say to me all the time, and I'll be like, bro, don't say that to me. But I'm 33 and I haven't figured out my own emotions. How can I expect a 5-year-old who's been on this planet a shorter time than myself to have like figured it all out? And to say, oh, daddy, I want this. And that's the reason why I'm acting out. Mm-hmm. Like, it's when you say it like that, it sounds stupid. It's like, right. well, duh. But in the heat of the moment, as a parent, I'm just talking for myself. As a parent, I don't think like that. I'm not like, oh, she trying to figure out life just like I'm trying to figure out life. I'm like, no. I told you to clean up your room or to come here and pick your shoes up. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what you got going on right now. I need you to come listen to me because I'm your daddy. And what I say, go.
Yeah, and a lot of times for us as parents or the adult figure, when we are engaging with our children and we feel ourselves getting emotional, it's better for us to just walk away, take a step back. Nah. In the heat of the moment, it can get crazy.
Nah, that's when you dig in.
For me, and what gentle and conscious parenting is like it's a lot of self-reflection, because you have to regulate yourself in order to show your child how to regulate themselves. It's a lot of modeling. It reminds me of being a teacher, because I think about, would I do this to one of my students? Or would I talk to them like this? No, because I'm not trying to lose my job. And I just make it okay. What?
Hold on. I forgot to tell you this. So I chaperoned Harper's trip to a science museum recently, right? And I was just around Harper the whole time. Because the other kids, they do like the buddy system, so they were all doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. And Harper took something in like this little play kitchen area and threw it across the counter at me. And I said, no, don't do that. And another lady who was there with her kids, not with the school at all, she looked at me like, why is he talking to that kid like that? And I chuckled to myself because I knew, one, I probably shouldn't have said that in that moment to Harper, because to certain people that could have looked a certain way. But then two, that lady don't know me from a can of paint, and I'm walking around with a chaperone sticker on my shirt, and I'm yelling at one of the kids like that. But luckily, she didn't say anything. It didn't go anywhere. But I'm chuckling to myself because, again, it's modeling, and then you said being in school, and but go ahead. I didn't mean to.
And I think, conscious gentle parenting is not. I'm in parenting groups on Facebook, and so it's not a new way of parenting, or for me, I see it as it's like the best way to parent, because growing up, if you grew up in a black household, typical black household for me,
spare the rod,
your discipline was, beatings, spankings, poppings, timeouts, grounding, things being taken away from you without explanation. There was no reasoning. It was because I said so. And conscious parenting takes away the parent's ego, and so you need to move yourself out of the way. And yes, your child did something wrong, and you need to explain it to them and explain why they have the consequence that they have, without trying to dominate them and without trying to just take things away from them, because again, they're just going to react negatively. And as a black people, we have to move away from physical punishment, because it's essentially it is child abuse. When you hit your child, it's child abuse. When you yell at your child and berate them and belittle them, you are verbally abusing them. So we have to move away from that as parents and realize the wrong that we're doing and the trauma that we're implementing on our child. And the goal is to have them leave their childhood with as little trauma as possible.
Now, one would say, you got a beating before and you turned out fine.
But
I got plenty of beatings and I turned out fine.
That doesn't make it right. I was in an abusive relationship.
And you turned out fine.
And that makes what they did okay?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you turned out fine. So talk to the people, in the comment section, who are saying, look, man, I got beatings every day of my life.
But it was abuse, right? It was abuse.
Or was it love?
It was abuse.
Okay.
You can love without hurting. Right. Love doesn't hurt.
Man, let me put it on a t-shirt.
Period.
The other point that I was going to try to make, or not a point, but the other side of the coin is, have you met someone who has raised a child, like successfully? When I say raised, like they 18, 19, 20 and went on to their adult life? Or are you just exposed to people who have, younger kids who are really taking this gentle, conscious parenting thing to the next level?
I think I came across it myself, and then I joined groups on Facebook, because initially when we started raising Harper, that was one of the things I was going to mention. Before you have kids, you need to discuss how you want to raise them as a couple.
Very important conversation.
Yes. We never had that conversation. I never thought it would be an issue.
Because she trapped me. We couldn't have a conversation, but
I never thought it would be an issue, but it has been, on how we want to raise our children. So I just came across this because when Harper initially was, growing up as a little baby, if she did something, it was like, a little pop on the hand, a little tap on the thigh or something.
Is that okay?
No.
But how?
I don't think you should hit children.
But, and again, I'm not saying that I'm wrong or you right or that I'm going to do any of this, but how can you communicate with a non-verbal baby or toddler that doesn't know how to talk yet, or a sign language or anything?
For example, when Harper was nursing, she bit me one time, and I think before that I might have read articles on like what to do if your child bites you while you're nursing.
You pop them?
No.
I'm just joking.
I immediately stopped the session. And mind you, Harper could not talk. I pulled her off and I said, no, Harper, you cannot bite.
That hurts mommy.
So I stopped the session and I kept saying that to her. So even though she can't express it to me, she can tell by my facial expression, she can tell by my words and my tone. I spoke in a very clear, decisive, firm tone to tell her I did not like that. I said, no, Harper, you cannot bite mommy. I didn't pull her off the boob and throw her on the couch and scream at her and be like, why did you bite me? No, I just said, no, Harper, you cannot bite mommy. If you're going to do that, we're going to stop. And then I just put her back. And it's a lot of modeling and just teaching self-regulation. You're teaching them to regulate themselves. So they can't do that if they see you not regulating yourself.
Yeah, that part is true. And
it's hard.
I was about to say, yeah, it's hard, and we're not experts. Trust me, the Lord's still working on my heart. I yell and fuss all the time. Now, I don't hit. I haven't laid hands in a long time.
That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, we don't.
For our parents.
And we don't allow anybody else to hit. Like, that's a rule that we've set for how. And I don't care if you are, grandma, auntie, best friend, uncle, whatever, babysitter, and nobody does any hitting.
We don't even threaten to hit.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's not a, hey, I got this spoon over here. I got my belt. EJ, go get my belt. You know what I'm saying? I don't do any of that. Because in the black... No, in the black community...
That spoon time.
Yeah, they got the spoon, they got the paddle.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? My grandma used to make me go pick my own switch.
Braid them together?
Yeah, all types of stuff. So yeah, we don't...
And that's traumatizing.
Yeah, it is. We don't threaten that way.
If you was in the black community from slavery... Yeah. Like, imagine.
Yeah, how did they learn how to get the switch?
I'm just saying, like, imagine, like, it's that ingrained trauma in us, and then we just keep passing it down. Like, no, that's gonna stop here.
Yeah, or
that's gonna stop.
When your daddy get home, you're gonna get a beating.
Oh my God.
I'm sure during slavery.
When Massa come home.
Yeah, when Massa come home.
He gonna tear your hide parts.
Yeah, you done crack these eggs.
And that's what keeps me from, like, no, I cannot, no, I'm not gonna hit you. Yeah. I'm not. And me as a teacher, I feel like a lot of times it helps me to think about my students as well, because I'm learning in this process and this is new to me, because this is not how I was raised and it was not what I was exposed to. Because whenever you did something bad growing up, first you said, ooh, you're gonna get a beating. Like, that's the first thing.
Yeah. But can you talk a little bit about boundaries though? I don't want people to think that conscious parenting is you let your kid run amok and, you know what I'm saying, they writing on the walls, cussing, doing backflips off the couch, all of those types. Because I think when people, I'll just speak for myself, growing up, if you were black, you got beatings. If you weren't black, you were on the other.
And you were allowed to have tantrums and
right, stuff like that. So I feel like just needs to be said, because I want people to understand that there's a fine line in between both of those. Now, I think there may be some conscious parents or some gentle parents that do let their kids just run amok. But for us, we set clear boundaries. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's not the absence of discipline or consequences. It's just a different way from what we have considered the norm from doing. Like, there's a TikToker that I follow. I think her name is Destiny Ann.
TikTok.
And she is a single parent, but she practices conscious, gentle parenting. And one thing her daughter likes to do, this is a good example, is she likes to jump on the bed. Now, growing up, it was just like, no, you're not going to jump on the bed. But what she said, let me teach her a safe way to do it. And so she sat down and talked to her daughter, say, okay, I see you like to jump on the bed, but what's something that we can do to make this safer? Like, she likes to get on the bed and like jump down to the floor or whatever. And so she said, I can put some blankets and some pillows. And her mom says, okay, that's a good idea. And then afterwards, she'll sit down and explain to her. I think a lot of it is just, you have to talk to these kids. Like, and we don't want to do that. And even sometimes I'll forget and I'll be like, Harper, you need to do this. And then I'll have to check myself and be like, hey, Harper, can you do this because such and such and such? Like earlier today, Harper was eating a lollipop and watching TV, but she was like rolling around on the couch and stuff with the lollipop in her mouth. And I was actually going upstairs and I just quickly said, I said, hey Harper, I said, could you sit up while you're eating that lollipop? Because I don't want you to be rolling around and you choke on it. And that was it. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be, Harper, stop sucking on on that lollipop and roll around the couch for a while. Make you throw it away. You won't have no lollipops ever again.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one right there. That's the one right there, because then they think, dang, I ain't gonna have no more lollipops?
It's just
not my lollipops?
No, it's conversations and regulations without having to threaten. So yes, sometimes you may have to talk to them about things and say, hey, you won't be able to do this unless you do this. It's like when we're adults, we know that we have to get up in the morning. So I know that I can't hang out late tonight because I have to get up at 5:30. Or I can do that, but my consequence is I'm going to be tired or I may be late.
Yeah.
And then if I'm late, I can get in trouble. If I get in trouble, I can lose my job. Like, it just sets off like a chain reaction. So that's what we're helping our children to realize. So me telling Harper to not roll around the couch, that's bringing her from choking on that lollipop. But then she'll realize, if I keep doing this, I may hurt myself. If I hurt myself and choke on this lollipop, I'm gonna be sick. I might need to go to the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. And just in all types of situations, like I told Harper, like, okay, it's time to get ready for bed. You gotta take a bath. You gotta do this. But I want candy. Okay, but we have steps, things that we need to do. So let's go ahead and take a bath, brush our teeth, put our pajamas on, and then we can watch TV or get our nighttime snack or do this. So it's all about regulation and just understanding. And you have to explain. You have to over-explain. And what we've been saying here is all about communication. Yeah. Communicate with your child. Talk to them. Explain it to them. I even explained to Harper like what curse words are and why they are inappropriate to say at certain times.
Yeah. It's important because I think the other piece too, and so our other child is 13, and wow, I've never hit her. I don't know. I don't think her mom's ever hit her like that either, but there's so much access to information now. Like, I think it's important to have the communication and to have those conversations with your, 5-year-old as well as your teenager, because you don't want them to go learn it in other places, or you don't want them to be afraid to come and talk to you and do something that they might regret as a learning experience, because they're going to learn it one way or another.
Right.
And so I think it's important that you do that.
Mommy.
Yeah.
We recorded. Come on now.
Yeah, we got to finish. We're almost done.
I want oranges.
Yeah, we're going to get you some.
Can you make a request? Didn't I say we would talk about it once I finish?
Exactly. So go ahead. The longer you do this.
Okay. So once we finish, then we'll see about the orange juice, okay?
Prime example. Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, one motivation for me to break this generational curse, this cycle of, corporal punishment, child abuse, physical punishment, is...
They're going to eat you up in the comments.
It's okay. I'll stand by it. It's child abuse. Period. So one thing that motivates me is that I want my children to always be able to feel free to communicate with me and talk to me about anything. So I feel like if I have those lines of communication open now at the young age of 3, 4, 5, then when she gets older and becomes a preteen and there's peer pressure and there's things going on and kids are doing drugs and having sex, or like just how she feels and the emotions that are going on inside her, she can come to me and say, hey mom, I really like this boy. I think I want to have sex with him. And I can sit there and have this conversation with her, and I just be like, you need to close your legs. You ain't gonna be no little fast tail girl. You ain't bring no babies up in my house. You ain't no STDs. Yeah. We can just have a conversation, and she doesn't have to. 35. Boy, bye. She don't have to sneak around and do things. That we can have that open communication type of relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's muy importante. But I was gonna say, parenting as it relates to marriage, kind of skipped ahead, but we mentioned, having conversation. Hey, listen, yours is money, mine is kids.
Okay, go ahead.
But definitely before you get married, you want to have conversations about your child rearing styles, and also if and when and how many kids you want to have.
That's important too.
That's important. Yeah. Now, if you shacking and not protecting yourself and you slip, trip, fell on a baby.
Yeah.
Then
you're gonna be
in the middle of, into the thick of it, like us. We had to have conversations as we were raising her. Yeah. So, but now we have conversations as she gets older, because it's a constant conversation, because the child changes,
we change, yeah.
Life happens,
circumstances, resources, all of that stuff change.
Things that have to, definitely, it's an evolving conversation. Again, communication is very important. And before you marry your partner, you got to decide, do you even want to have children? When do you want to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road? Do you want to have kids right away? Yeah. How spaced out do you want them? Yeah. All that jazz. Yeah. I think that's very important.
And I say this all the time, like, Nakia getting lucky, but don't ever go into a relationship thinking that, oh, she said she don't want no kids, but once we get married, you know what I'm saying, she might change her mind. Mm-hmm. Nah, you never want to base a whole marriage, a whole contract, a whole all of that whole situation off of they may change once we get married. Like, no, if that's something that you desire and that's one of your non-negotiables, keep that as a non-negotiable, because again, that person may never come around. And the other piece that I was going to say too, Nakia was saying, having a conversation around child rearing, but also around like, who's going to be the spokesperson for your family to tell everybody else, like, nah, we not, this is how we choosing to raise our kid, and this is the way it's going to be. And it might be uncomfortable for some people, but it's definitely a conversation that you need to have.
Yeah, we did. People call us weird for everything we've done with Harper. So.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't find out the sex of Harper until she came out the womb. We did cloth diapers, we breastfed, we're doing conscious parenting now.
I made her baby food.
Yeah, Nakia made the baby food.
Yeah. We
let her wear whatever she want for the most part. So, I mean, sometimes she do stuff a little too far-fetched. I'd be like, Harper, no, not today.
You just be like, you can't come out with me. Is it clean and are you comfortable?
At the end of the day, she's still as a reflection of us.
She's a reflection of herself.
And everybody not on that.
Ego.
Hey, call her what you want. Everybody not going to look at it like that. Like, oh, that little girl dressed herself to that. They'll be like, now why in the world? Black folk, y'all know how y'all do. Why in the world they let that baby come out the house?
We're breaking that cycle.
Yeah. What I said at the beginning of this, God's still working on me.
He is.
So, what else you got for the folks?
One thing I was going to say is about raising children is to try your best not to argue in front of the kids. Well, that's for us. I don't know. Some people may feel comfortable with that and may want to have their kids just see
tension and all of that.
Yeah, to see okay, me and daddy aren't perfect. Of course kids feel it, but I think if you're having a really heated discussion, I think you want to shield your children from that, because again, the goal for me for parenting is to raise my child with as little trauma as possible, because you can't avoid it. You're gonna do something, but little trauma inflicted by me.
And I think to piggyback on that is doing it, avoid doing it when it's about the kid. So say Nakia is conscious and I'm not, in front of the kid, we need to be on the same page. Because
that is the point I wrote down.
Yeah. So now she think I'm cheating off her paper. But
I'm just saying.
Because in front of the kid, you want to present a united front, because then in the event that they're exposed to the arguing about them, they always say, okay, cool, I got mommy, she always on my side. So now the kid can undermine what the other parent is saying, always run to the help or the savior. You don't want to be
good cop, bad cop.
Right.
Daddy said no, so I'm going to go to mommy, or mommy said no, and I'm going to go to daddy.
When I say no, it's no. And now
when I say no, when he say no, it's no. Yeah. When I say no, it's no, even if she go to him.
Now mommy might say, just wait, and then she'll say, EJ, now come on, it's just a piece of candy. I was like, well, it's no for now. Let's revisit it in a little bit.
And that's regulation.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, by that time they forgot, but not Harper. Not Harper.
She's like an elephant.
Yeah, she remember everything. Y'all just saw she was asking for orange juice, and she been talking about that for about an hour. So, and we're gonna get her some, just not right now.
Yeah, just gotta wait. Yeah. Delayed gratification.
Exactly, which is a bigger topic, but we ain't gonna go on to that tonight.
Yeah, I could talk all day about gentle, conscious parenting, but that is the parenting style that we choose to follow, and that's how we choose to raise our child. Let us know your parenting style and how were you raised down in the comments below. That's interesting. And how has that affected you as a parent and raising children in a relationship or even just co-parenting.
Yeah. So as a wrap up, give them like 2 takeaways. Like for someone who wants to start this conversation but they don't know where to start.
I think it starts with you. I think if you want to bring it to your partner, you need to say, hey, I've noticed this about my parenting style and how it's affected our child, and I think it should change, and maybe this is something that we can do together. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, I saw how you talk to the child, so this is what you need to do. Sometimes you have to gentle marriage.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. What if they don't have kids yet and they like, seriously dating, or they are engaged to be married but they don't have kids?
I think you should talk about how you were raised and how that has affected you as you've grown and developed as a human on this planet, and talk about the things that you want to change as you raise children. So, if you have any types of issues and maybe what caused them because you've been to therapy, it's good for you. Try it. Dang.
Oh, you real knucklehead.
It's one of my children. If you know what caused those issues, and if it was brought on by something, from how you were raised, and you can say, hey, I don't want to do this when we have children, or maybe we can think about doing this. Because again, it's just a conversation. Mm-hmm. You honestly don't know till you get into the thick of it. But one thing I do know is don't hit your kids, y'all. It's child abuse.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Another episode in the books. We appreciate y'all. Subscribe. Drop down in the comments if y'all got something to say.
The block is going to be hot on this one.
Yeah, it might be. But we would love to hear from y'all.
I'm excited. So, get them fingers to typing. Let's go. We have some conversation.
Absolutely. We'll have some dialogue back and forth. So,
but we will be respectful.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because if not, you'll just get deleted and we'll turn off the comments, because this is our platform and we can say what we want to say.
For sure. All right, y'all. We appreciate it. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.